Hi folks, welcome back to Elemental Cartomancy. This is going to be a wee year ahead reading, so this is like a wee birthday reading for our Scorpios. So this is a wee something I'm going to do, one of these a month, and yeah, because we've just started Scorpio season, you can look at this as like a wee year ahead reading for yourself, if it resonates, of course. So the decks that I'm using here, I've got the beautiful Star Rune Oracle by Kristen Louise, and I've got a Rider-Waite's Myth deck. I'm going to be using both of these, and maybe at some point I'll pull in another deck, I'm not sure. But anyway, we're going to start ourselves off with a wee card pull from the Star Rune Oracle. And this is just going to be a wee something to kick us off, give us a wee bit of a flavour for the reading, and see what kind of an overall feeling the year ahead is going to have for us Scorpios. Oh, I think that was that's the one we're going with there. So I'm a Scorpio, so this is for me as well, and this is the first time I'm doing this, so it feels right to do it in Scorpio season. We've got Iwa's connection. So our connections with the people closest to us are going to be important here. Think connections to those closest to you, but also think about, be wary of new connections that you might be forming this year. But either way, connections, relationships feel important. I do love this because it's a gay couple that are in it, and that's quite nice. So give the tarot deck a wee shuffle, and I'm going to do a 12 cards, kind of a like calendar spread, but I like to do it rather than just like January, February, March. I like to do a card for each, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, etc, etc. And obviously the Scorpio card will cover the Scorpio time frame, so roughly the 23rd of November until the 22nd of... No, I beg your pardon. Sorry, 23rd of October to about the 22nd of November or something like that. So yeah. Okay, so a year ahead for Scorpio. I think that was the Lovers card that turned around there when I was just shuffling, so definitely hitting those connection vibes. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of up here in the, what would that be, 2 o'clock position, and work my way around because that's where Scorpio sits. So okay, so we're starting off with the Six of Cups there. So right now we're in Scorpio season, so this is covering the kind of a present up until like into next month. So Six of Cups, think emotional system reset. The 6 comes after the 5, which is the challenge and the kind of an emotional suit, and the 6 is just a bit of a rebalancing of things, a bit of a reharmonising, starting to feel emotionally a bit better after potentially have gone through some difficult times. Sagittarius, we've got another 6, this time the 6 of Wands. So it's like the emotional healing comes first, and then we get our fire back in Sag season, so that's end of November to end of December. So yeah, 6 of Wands suggests that our projects, our kind of a passionate endeavours will be a success, and that's kind of a November, December time. And then look at Capricorn, December, January. We've got the Two of Swords, so a wee bit of uncertainty coming in there. So you can see a kind of a continuance with the 2 6s, where things are looking good, things are there's success, there's reharmonising. Then all of a sudden we've got this kind of a uncertainty, this bit of a stalemate that we're feeling, where we're in two minds about something. So it could be that we're just picking up on a different theme here that's going to come up during the year, or it could be like success goes so far and then we're overthinking things again, where we're not sure again. Okay, so watch out for that in December, January time. We've got the Hermit reverse, so with that, that stalemate, that kind of being stuck, and sometimes the Two of Swords can be, so what's supposed to come after the Two is the Three of Swords, right? Which is the ripping off of the plaster. The Two of Swords is kind of like that phase before you rip the plaster off, where you're like, oh no, I don't like this is going to be sore, and you're dreading it, and you end up putting it off, and the 3 represents that ripping off, but sometimes we don't. We think, do you know what, I'll leave the plaster on for now, I'll do it tomorrow, and it's always more painful the longer you leave it. So it's looking like an Aquarius season, which we're looking at January, February time. Excuse me. We've got the Hermit reversed, so that's going through maybe a feeling of being feeling a wee bit isolated, feeling a wee bit lonely, and it almost feels like, could this be a result of this? Maybe like a failure to make a decision, a failure to make a stand. Maybe somebody needs our support, they need us to stick up for them. And around about this kind of a December, January time, where we've not done it, and maybe this could be a consequence of not doing it. So if you're looking and thinking, right, okay, well that could be me, maybe I'm a wee bit indecisive, or maybe I'm a bit of a people pleaser, maybe I struggle to kind of make a stand and make decisions, just be wary if you're faced with a situation like that around that time frame. If you fail to act, it could be that you end up isolating yourself, or you end up feeling just that wee bit more separate. Pisces, this is, I think, February, March kind of a time, we see the Two of Cups coming in, okay? So this, as much as this might be a wee bit difficult, it doesn't last long. In Pisces season, we see that, sorry, I'll move that down so you can see it. We see that connection building back up. Now this could be this could be related to, it probably is, to be honest. The fact that it's 2 2s makes me feel like, maybe we let somebody down here, and whether we go through a bit of maybe a month of being a bit separate from them, but it feels like that's like, it kind of rights itself after, a few weeks, after a month, we kind of build that connection back up. So this is just temporary. So if you do go through maybe a wee bit of a fallout, or maybe a wee bit of a difficult phase with someone close to you, remember this is all relating to your close connections and stuff, then February, March time, it feels like that is naturally going to work itself out. So still do what you can to be the person that you need to be for them. Here, let me move myself. We don't really need my big stupid face here, it's better to see the cards. Do what you can do to be supportive and be there for this person, to be a good friend, a good partner, whatever it is, but just know that if things do feel a bit shit for a bit, it's only temporary. Right, if that was Pisces, then we're into Aries. Page of Cups reversed. So Aries is March and April, isn't it? So March, April time, Page of Cups, we're talking, someone who's very emotional, bubbly. He is in reverse, so it makes me think, or maybe looking at someone here who's a bit overly emotional, maybe a wee bit immature, maybe they don't have realistic or strong boundaries when it comes to, again, I'm going to keep saying it, relating back to those connections. I don't know. Page of Cups reversed, they're not a bad person, they just... They struggle sometimes with their feelings and controlling their feelings, and I guess just being in control of their own emotions, and that can kind of it can make interactions quite difficult, I think. So far we've done 6 months worth here, and we've taken ourselves up to, well into April. Yeah, it feels like we're running hot and cold. There's some really good bits here. It feels like right now we've got a good wee period, a good wee spell, wee bit of difficulty for the next 2. Then, we're building that back up, but then there's the Page of Cups reversed coming out. So let's move on to Taurus season, April, May. And we'll get the Nine of Cups. It is in reverse. So 9 of Cups is all about fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, abundance, all that kind of a thing. but she's in reverse, so we kind of just need to, you know, when this goes in reverse, I always start thinking of the, you know, our wee John Travolta who's sitting with his arms crossed. His body language is very much blocking everyone off. It's like I've got my table set, all the cups are there, ready to welcome people in, but oh no, I'm not ready to do that. Feels like maybe over a few months, boundaries are a bit of an issue, you know. I'm saying here like the boundaries are an issue for the page, and that he maybe struggles to have strong boundaries, but maybe it's the other way about. Maybe his boundaries are too strong, linking into this Nine of Cups reversed here. Maybe it's we go through a wee phase of, you know, blocking people out when we need to let people in. So just be wary of that around about that kind of a April and around about it. You know, if you need help, if you're needing, you know, emotional support or whatever it might be, don't give out those kind of a vibes where it's like you're blocking people off. So that was Taurus. Then we're into Gemini, which is May, June, and we've got the Page of Swords. So it's quite apt for Gemini, I guess. It feels like we're turning a bit of a corner here. There's maybe a wee bit of emotional immaturity here, and definitely kind of a being more rational minded with the Page of Swords. Still a page, so it's not like we've leveled up or anything like that, but we have at least turned the situation around. So we've kind of got a bit of a more sensible head on our shoulders. We've still got a lot to learn as far as emotional maturity is concerned, but definitely feels like we're coming out of this kind of a phase of just feeling a wee bit emotionally bogged down. And after, what do we have, Gemini? So then it's Leo, isn't it? No, it's not. It's Cancer. Cancer, we've got the Sun reversed. So, I mean, that you can't completely take away from the positivity and the joy of the Sun, but sometimes, for me, when the Sun is reversed, it can just speak to, you know, sometimes when we try and make out that things are great, and it really is, it's to show face. Do you know what I mean? It's all for show, or maybe not all for show, but sometimes we try and make out that everything's great, everything's, you know, dandy, everything's hunky dory, and, you know, it's like we feel this need to put out. It's toxic positivity, you know, in a certain form. It's like we feel this need to put out this positive, you know, my life's great, I've got everything together, that type of thing. But really, when you scratch beneath the surface, things aren't as amazing, you know, and sometimes that's fine, you know. You wouldn't want to be totally the opposite and be constantly portraying everything as negative, and sometimes we do need to kind of just put a brave face on and try and be positive. It's not about like it's not about being toxically positive. That doesn't make sense. But it's not about being positive to a degree where it's toxic. But equally, if we're just constantly being negative, then it's like a mantra. Do you know what I mean? If we keep telling ourselves that things are shit, then it's not going to change because you're not changing your mind frame. Sometimes we need to kind of get into that positive mind frame in order for things to feel a bit better. I think that's what I'm trying to say. So that was Cancer season, which is June, July. So then we come to July, August, I think, for Leo. Seven of Swords reverse. So we just need to watch ourselves around about that time. If this is something we're experiencing, like from the external, then we maybe need to watch what's going on around about us. Just make sure that we're not being hoodwinked. Just make sure that we're not allowing people to take advantage of us. If this is us, then obviously, you know, keep your nose clean. Make sure that, you know, whatever it is that you're doing, sometimes there's just a right way and a wrong way of doing things. And just always keep that in mind, particularly around Leo season, so July, August kind of a time. What this can also be talking about though, when we're looking at the Seven of Swords, it can just be about thinking outside the box, about finding a different way, an alternative solution to the problem. Like rather than dealing with things head on, It can be about finding an alternative way about that. And people might not approve, people might look at what you're doing and think, oh, that's terrible, imagine doing that, or whatever. But sometimes we just need to think, right, do you know what? I don't give a fuck. You know, my bag of fucks is empty. I don't care what other people are going to say. You know, I need to do what I need to do, that type of thing. Just obviously make sure that it's not too, like, make sure you're not being dodgy, you know. Make sure that you're not, there's like I say, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, and, you know, there is a fine line and all that stuff. Anyway, I feel like I'm going on about this. That was Leo. So then after Leo, we have Virgo. Virgo, August, September, we've got the full. So this is quite refreshing. After what feels like things have been heavy for quite a while, right down this arc. I know we've got the sun and stuff, but even the sun was in reverse, you know, so it just feels like things have been quite heavy, and then all of a sudden we've got this spontaneity, this kind of a freshness of the full. So this feels like a long time coming. And yeah, it just feels like a complete, you know, we're turning a corner, wiping the slate clean, things are going to start feeling much, much better. And it's not like everything's totally shit here. You know, there's definitely some good stuff, but it's almost like constantly underneath the surface there are like kind of just like everyday stresses and things that we're just having to deal with. Whereas the full feels like it's just like a fresh start type thing, you know. So definitely feels quite refreshing and feels quite good, and again that is Virgo season. And then finally we end up on Libra season. We end up on the Five of Cups reversed. You know, the last time I did one of these for my friend last month, and weirdly enough, so here this feels like it actually feeds into this, do you know what I mean, rather than from this. And it was the same with her. It felt like the last card actually was like what was going on before and what leads into the first card we pulled. And almost like you know, you've got your Five of Cups, disappointment, you know, going through difficult times, you know, emotional instability, okay, so feeling potentially our emotions are all over the place and feeling quite disappointed, disheartened, and really feeling like we're in a place where we're really, like, whether we want to or not, really focused and honing in on the negative stuff. So that could be Libra season coming, but I suspect that maybe we've just been going through that with Libra season just there. So you look at it and you see what feels appropriate to you. If you feel like, yeah, this is what you've just been going through, this is your recent past, and this is, you know, things start to feel a bit better just now, then that's what it is for you. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like it follows on, because the full is like, you know, a fresh start, like starting to kind of get our mojo back after going through some of this heavy stuff. So it doesn't feel like it should be leading into the Five of Cups reverse, but you never know. Okay, that was our Scorpio year ahead. Lots of twists and turns. Definitely a more, you know, there's some stuff going on that we're dealing with in this kind of first part, mid next year. But like, to take it back to the centre card connection, our connections, the people closest to us, our support system is going to be really important. So as long as you've got this strong foundation, you can deal with pretty much anything, okay? So keep your loved ones close. Make sure that you look after them and they look after you. And I think what might be nice to do is to finish up with a wee card pull now, because we are in Scorpio season. I'm going to pull from Seasons of the Witch, the Samhain Oracle. And this will just finish things off. Okay, so we've got journey. So let me hold that up so you can read it with me. So, daughters of our mother, walkers of the unknown, take with you on this journey all that you hone. And we do see someone who's got a long path, long, winded, twisted path ahead of them. I know that it looks quite dark, but this is like a Samhain Oracle, so all of the cards are quite dark in it. It does look as though this looks like it could potentially be a mountain. Mountains represent obstacles, and it does look like we've got some obstacles ahead, right? But take with you on this journey all that you hone. Okay, so like I say, those people that we were close to, those relationships that we've built up, let's take them with us. They're our support system, that's our support network, and ultimately they're the ones that are going to get us through some of the tougher times, and they'll be the ones that will enjoy some of the the more successful and the more positive times with us. Okay, Scorpio, this was your year ahead birthday reading. So happy birthday whenever your birthday happens to be. I hope that you have a fantastic time. Take care, everyone, and I will see you all later. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye.